Hey guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit about team building in the brand new game Neo Artifacts. We're gonna take a look at all the characters that everyone gets for free while just playing through the story and progressing naturally. That way everyone can take something away from this here. So you want to have a very healthy team compositions with pretty much every single role in this game covered. There are two characters here in particular that stay out and are completely game-breakingly busted. That is, whatever character you actually rerolled for, and the character that you receive for free, which is this Bad Peach Vase character. That is gonna be our premier DPS character. She obliterates the entire competition all on her own, and the rest of our team can be focusing on supporting and keeping the team alive and sustaining ourselves. And yeah, see that we are healthy and we are surviving, so that Bad Peach Vase atom bombs the entire map out of existence. And to accomplish that is the best ways to accomplish that is of course to play a healer. I do this with Jiao Hu, who I rerolled for. In case you would have not rerolled for Jiao Hu, you have to play the character Sky Blue Vase as like a little bit of a substitute or a budget version for Jiao Hu. And you can see right here that she has abilities that whenever she would, for example, launch a basic attack, she restores HP, and she does this to the ally with the lowest amount of HP percentage within 2 surrounding tiles. That is pretty similar, right? This is a budget version for what Jiao Hu also does. Jiao Hu provides also a heal to allies that when she acts are surrounding her for 2 tiles away, not more. That leads to us playing a death ball comp, and we all have to stay together at pretty much all times to sustain ourselves through the healing that either Sky Blue Vase or Jiao Hu provides to us. So there we go. We have now already figured out our strategy, which is called Death Ball. We now know 2 to 3 characters already that our team is built around. It is the character that you rerolled for, it is Bad Peach Vase, and probably Sky Blue Vase. Now, how to round up our composition. We want to take characters with us that have or can take the biggest amount of punch. Those would be of course Spear of Fukai, because it is a defender and she's actually really tanky. She can hold the enemies in check, she reduces their attack stat, which leads to her or the entire team for that matter surviving more by taking less damage. Play her and you will see that she is pretty much unkillable. Then furthermore we need characters around her, you know. Again, we want to all stay in very close proximity to each other and not further than 2 tiles away. That is perfectly made for strikers like the Tiang vessel right here, because not only is he close range, which is perfect for our composition, it goes further here because he synergizes around being, for example, at 50 HP percentage or more, then he would deal more damage. Later on he unlocks some lifesteal for himself. He increases the survivability for the team by a pretty huge margin as well, and synergizes around exactly what we want to do. The same scenario here occurs for Salt Production Brick. It's close range, very mobile. yeah, a little bit on the squishier side, but has an ultimate that deals damage to all enemies in close proximity. So not too bad of a choice either. We don't have anything at our disposal that would be better. Let me repeat what characters to invest in. It is the character that you rerolled for. It is Bad Peach Vase. Those two characters are by far the most important characters, easily. Then Tiang Vessel and Salt Production Brick are very good because they synergize with us. If you don't have Jiao Yu, you need Sky Blue Vase, and then the Spear of Fukai rounds the composition up and is pretty much unkillable, especially when it comes to receiving our healing. Alright, now with all of that being out of the way, we can hop into battle and see how things look in action. Alright, here we are. Let's take a look at how this looks. Yeah, our sniper, of course, she's the only one that is not sticking with the team and always be at the biggest range, as far away as she possibly could be, of course. Everyone else though is gonna be in melee range. Even our mage right here with our Peach Vase, she's gonna be in melee range non-stop. Everyone is, because only then do they receive the healing. So we're gonna jump in, we're gonna deal damage as fast as possible. If these, sometimes it depends a little bit on the stage, right? Yeah, these strikers, they are very good at closing in on range. They can always close the gap and deal damage right out of the gate. They don't always want to do that though. Sometimes you have to hold them back because you want your tank to be on the front line, and you want your tank to be going in first. You will see this here in just a second once I defeated the first enemies. And yeah, again, like our ranger, she's gonna stay as far away as she possibly can. Everyone is going in and grouping in melee range, and you can see these 3 stars up right here. Those stars are what you need to accumulate in order for you to use this ultimate. Boom, right? To accumulate these stars, you have to use basic attacks, right? What is called auto cast in this game. Only that accumulates you one of those stars. And each and every attack of your characters, you can see this right here, right? Wait, something else. Here, I'm not moving in with my strikers. I keep them on standby so that they don't eat the damage from all 3 of my opponents. And I have my tank going in first. So my tank is the one that takes the damage and not my strikers. Okay, back to the stars. You always have to use an ability in order to accumulate one of those stars. For your ultimate you need 3 stars, and for your regular ability you need 1 star. And now look, if I would be using my ability, I would lose one of those stars. That would lead to me next round not being able to use my ultimate. I would next turn need to use an auto cast to get then my ult back 2 turns in advance. You know what I mean? That is not something that you want to do. You always want to use your ultimates with pretty much every character first before you ever gonna use the regular ability. Sometimes it would be a little bit of a waste to use your ultimate, right? You get the point though. Most of the times you want to use your ultimate, especially with my healer here with Jiao Hu. I want to get this ultimate out before I would ever use her ability, so that the melodies, the buffs that recover my HP every single turn, they start ticking like right out of the gate, basically, as soon as they possibly can. And then after I used my ultimate, right, then I use an autocast, ability, autocast, ability, and so on and so forth. But in most cases it is ultimate first, and then auto attack, ability, auto attack, ability. In most cases, it's not always the case, but yeah, you will figure that if you don't play this game on autoplay, that this is how it usually goes in most cases. And that's basically my strategy for now with free-to-play characters. See here, and I move in close range, I heal all of my characters. With my ultimate, I provide them with the melody, and now I would go and yeah, use an autocast, use my ability to heal again. If I don't even, sometimes, you know, since my characters are now buffed and they recover HP every single turn, I don't even need to use my ability. I can only go for autocast until I can use my ultimate again, you know. So it is a little bit situational, and it depends also on the stage and how the formation goes, you know. Sometimes your team is split apart into 2 teams and stuff. That's why you want to use strikers, right? For these stages you want to use strikers because they can move really fast and really far, so it makes it easier for everyone to group together again. But you know, you get the point. Use the peach vase, use your character that you rerolled for, use the blue vase in case you don't have a healer, keep your team together and establish like a little bit of a death ball so that everyone can profit from healing. Don't have your team split up too much, right? And that is, at least that is my play style. I'm aiming for a second tank so I can get rid of at least one of my strikers, and I want to be as tanky as possible with a lot of sustain and with a lot of heal, and then I have like 1 or 2 damage dealers that get the job done. With how strong Peach Vase is, that is pretty easy. You see that every time it is her turn, at least 1 enemy dies, right? So that is more than enough damage that I could like need or ask for. But that's about it for the combat, guys, for Neo Artifacts for now in the very early game. You know, that game just launched yesterday, and we're gonna have to deal with the characters that we get for free. I hope that made your life a little bit more convenient and maybe you are a little bit less lost. Probably you're gonna play on autoplay, which is totally fine. I do that for the most part as well, but I hope the game becomes at some point more difficult and we can make use of, or we have to even make use out of playing it manually. I hope that helped when it comes to building your team, and yeah, maybe you learn something, you understand the combat system a little bit better, right? It's not that complicated. The game is very easy. You get away with autoplay. But yeah, I hope I increased your understanding of team building at least a little bit. I give you a little bit of a blueprint when it comes to what strategy you can use, what characters are a little bit better than others. I wouldn't go for specialists. Maybe you can use a specialist and ditch the ranger, you know what I mean? The game is so easy that yeah, I mean, you will get away with pretty much no matter what you do if we are being honest, you know. But anyways, I hope that helped, guys. That's it for me for today. If you want to see more Neo Artifacts content from me, there is a beginner guide in the making. That is probably going to be my next video. There are a lot of aspects to the game and a lot of min-maxing when it comes to progression. So that is what we're going to talk about next. But until then, take care of yourselves. Have a great day. Peace.